Hi, welcome to the Fit and Healthy Today show. And today our topic matter is impotence, or also known as erectile dysfunction. Now, we've touched briefly previously on this subject, but I wanted to expand a little bit upon it and give a little bit more information about the numerous causes of it, and to make notation that it's not necessarily something that somebody suffers from later on in life. As a matter of fact, when it involves impotence, age has nothing to do with it. All the studies, everything that came out on this particular topic matter says it isn't age. So whether you're 20 or you're 80, and if you have these issues, you'll have problems. If you don't, you won't. When we look at the definition of it, there's two different kinds. There's a primary, which generally occurs at birth or when there's extreme trauma in the early childhood years, such as sexual abuse or physical abuse. And then we have the secondary, which tends to occur later on in life due to some of these other causes. If the primary is there in existence, it would be difficult for a man to get an erection or all the time from the time he's a boy on upward. And generally that's a very difficult issue to resolve, short of psychological counseling if it's psychologically induced, but more often than not it's due to physical problems in childbirth or because of a birth defect. When we talk about the cause of secondary impotence, man, number one on the list is going to be nutritional deficiencies. And with the standard French fry and hamburger diet that we have out there, we're seeing a lot of these. I mean, there's certain minerals, certain vitamins that allow the blood to flow very well, that allow your nitric oxide to which allows you to get an erection and to stay hard. If you don't have those elements or proper nutrients to supply those elements, you're not going to be able to get an erection, or if you get one, you're not going to be able to stay there. In addition, diet seems to be, as I said, the French fry and hamburger diet, a high saturated fat, high sugar, overeating kind of diet lends itself to impotence. And then you add on to it the lack of exercise. This is the standard American man nowadays. That is why we're seeing so much problems with it, and probably why I'm seeing so many customers coming in and complaining, in addition to these other factors as well. Now you take these other factors and you stack on it the loads of medications, including hypertensive blood pressure medications, sedatives, tranquilizers, things to calm you down, antidepressants, amphetamines, diuretics to lower blood pressures or get rid of water, and acids. You know, the acid reflux drug is one of the favorite drugs given by physicians. And I'll be doggone, it blocks certain minerals and it isn't going to happen for a guy. Antihistamines, because of all the allergies going out there, ain't going to happen. Antidepressants. So these medications, before you go on them, you better seriously look at whether or not you have issues with this first before you start considering these medications, because that will directly affect your ability to perform. Endocrine imbalances, low testosterone. Since we have so much estrogen dominance in our environment with all the pesticides and the chemicals, oftentimes men are now having low testosterone or low free testosterone levels because of all the high estrogens. We're also seeing abnormal thyroid hormones. Today I had a customer come in and her children were all on fluoride supplements. And I know that's a big thing to give to strengthen teeth. They did that with my son Ian, and he ended up with fluorosis. There's a little spotting on the teeth. His teeth snap at a moment's notice. The problem is, however, is it also slows the thyroid down. It's an old medication that they used to give to slow thyroid down. So that can affect long-term the development of the thyroid gland, as well as being able to use certain hormones in the thyroid gland in the long-term male performance. So please, once again, strongly think about, before you start putting your children on those fluoride supplements, if whether or not the long-term ramifications might be worth it. Alcohol. Boy, I know we oftentimes think we're going to have a nice dinner and we're going to drink a few beers. Alcohol is not the best way to get good circulation down in the male member or to maintain an erection. And when you combine that with other recreational drugs such as ecstasy, marijuana, cocaine, all the drugs out there that are used, particularly I'm seeing an awful lot by our younger people, in the long run it's going to affect male performance and is going to cause impotence. Cigarette smoking. Now, we know that for every cigarette you smoke, it destroys 25 to 50 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, and vitamin C is what's necessary to maintain one of the major things to maintain vascular flexibility. Well, you add nicotine on top of that, and if you're a cigarette smoker, long haul, it ain't going to happen. Or you're going to reach the point of impotence earlier on in life. So considering the usage of drugs, medications, your diet, and lack of exercise, if you combine all these together, oh boy, it's no wonder I'm having so many guys come in the door. When we're looking at also then, because of the nutritional deficiencies in the diet and lack of exercise, then we end up with all these diseases, including diabetes. Low blood pressure can also affect as well. Peripheral vascular disease, that means poor circulation because of vitamin C deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies. Swollen prostates, or prostate, which if you have a prostate swollen, it can cause, well, it's an inflammatory issue and it can cause issues with male performance. Arterial sclerosis, which is a buildup of plaque in the vascular system, which narrows the arteries and doesn't allow for blood flow. When you narrow the blood flow, I'll be doggone, you're not going to be able to get there or stay there as a man. Heavy metal poisoning. Now, I had a customer come in today that I believe has heavy metal poisoning. He was a cable man, and he's starting to have memory issues and circulatory issues, and I'll be doggone, heavy metal poisoning. So if you're in those types of fields where you work around any type of metals, having a hair analysis done in order to determine whether or not you have any heavy metal poisoning is an absolute must. Stress, anxiety, depression, allergies, all those kinds of things that we see physiologically in life can contribute. Now see, that goes hand in hand with the psychological aspect, because what happens is when guys, and you guys know it best, and I also say this for the women so that they have an understanding there of guys, when they have stress and anxiety, girls, I'll tell you, and something doesn't work, then all of a sudden they have this fear and anxiety within themselves that the next time you're together with them, they're not going to be able to properly perform. And then that lends itself and lends itself and lends itself. So the psychological aspect for men is a huge component in whether or not a male can become impotent. I knew I was going to say that eventually. That's a southern way of saying it. Impotent. It oftentimes, like we say, is a self-fulfilling a prophecy for men. So obviously having an understanding partner when something like this is going on is a must. Otherwise, long-term wise, we could see some interesting psychological issues that could affect further performance. When we're talking about diet, and normally you only see me have just a few lines written about diet in this particular issue. On this one, I've got quite a bit written because I believe if we don't address these issues as far as diet is concerned, long-term wise or short-term wise, you're going to have a problem performing. High fiber foods, including raw vegetables, leafy greens, apples, oats, whole grains, they're keeping the sugars stable. It's getting rid of the toxins. It's getting the excessive estrogens that you may collect from all the pesticides you're eating out of the body. Whenever you can do it, please eat organic. And I see more people go, yeah. But you don't understand, see. The estrogens that are found, or the estrogen mimickers that are found in these chemical pesticides can be up to 6 million times stronger than the natural estrogens produced by your body. So they'll block your testosterone from converting into free testosterone, and then good luck. I think every man that's age 50 and above should have his testosterone, free testosterone, estrogens, and DHEA levels tested. Those are all necessary for male performance, but not only that, for your bones, for your overall well-being, those all need to be tested. There are certain foods that are known, and they have some research behind them, libido enhancers, and some of which were somewhat of a surprise. Watercress leaves, sesame seeds, and bee pollen. Oftentimes you use bee pollen for allergies. It can be very helpful, and it's a superfood. Eat pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, because those types of nuts or seeds help stimulate testosterone, or the stabilization of testosterone, and reduction of inflammation in the prostate. They're very rich in zinc. Try to eliminate most of your saturated fats, your trans fats, inflammatory fats, and junk food from your diet. So stopping at the local burger place is not going to aid and assist you going home to your wife, getting in bed and having sex, because it is going to be a problem if you sit there and do that on a continual basis, because you're going to end up with a vascular system that's going to be sludgy. How are you going to have good blood flow if you're going to have sludgy blood? So you're needing to consider eating better foods, much more productive. Don't eat a large meal before sex. So if you're going to go out and sit there and hog away on food and then expect to come home and be able to, on your anniversary dinner, and expect to come home and have sex, it's going to be very difficult, because all your blood is right here. So when your blood is here, there ain't much left for any other places. So try not to eat a large meal before sex. That can affect an ability to be able to get hard and stay hard. There's a lot of supplements out there that have some documentation, studies, and proof. And all the ones I've written down on here all have studies. And they're all time tested. They've been around for some time. I know with my customer base, I've seen these for the last 14 years, off and on, some of which are a little bit newer and more utilized now. A good multiple vitamin high in B vitamins, along with a couple thousand milligrams of vitamin C with bioflavonoids per day, maintains vascular flexibility. You can't vasodilate and have male member be able to get larger if you don't have adequate amounts of good vascular strength and integrity. So keeping a good multiple high in Bs, and I'm not talking about from your local warehouse, along with extra vitamin C, is necessary to maintain that vascular flexibility necessary in order to get larger. Vitamin E increases circulation. It helps the circulation, oxygenation. It slightly thins the blood, so actually it also can help with blood pressure as well too. And I have some physicians that actually recommend it instead of aspirin to slightly thin the blood and keep things flowing as well too. Zinc and magnesium. Now magnesium, the National Institute of Health says 92% of American men are magnesium deficient. Magnesium is necessary for vasorelaxation. So if your vascular system is always going to say stiffen and harden, then you're not going to be able to get that way, because you're not going to get blood going in to the male member in order to get an erection. Magnesium is probably one of the top 4 things, besides a good multiple vitamin C. Magnesium is very necessary in most people's, for supplementation, in most people's vitamin regimen. We have a local physician that's recommending this one, and there are some really good clinicals that came out about a year ago regarding arginine and citrulline, and I wrote down his protocol regarding this. And I've had some of my senior men come in, one of which said he hadn't had sex for 3 years, came in and said, wow, things are back to normal again for me and my wife. So pretty awesome, and it's definitely worth a try. These are taken on an empty stomach at the various times that I have listed on here. Ginseng, and now it needs to be the right type, which is Panax ginseng.